Hey, how's it going everyone? It is Drago, and within the Hiro Mashima universe, we got granted a brand new series, that being Deadrock. Since I cover Fairy Tail at some point, I probably would have been asked about Deadrock at some point, so might as well talk about it. Which Eden Zero I don't really talk about too much. I covered the episodes a while back, and I did initially read the manga when it was first coming out, but then I kind of just fell off of it, and now I do read it weekly, but I just never make videos on it. So Deadrock, we only have one chapter, and the next chapter comes out in September. I'm not going to be doing this video like my normal Fairy Tail reviews. I just kind of want to talk about my opinions on it, and honestly, there really isn't so much to go on right now. It's only the first chapter, so you're just going to be speculating most of the time anyway. Based on this first chapter, I do really like it, and I'm very intrigued to see where we go, especially since this is supposed to be a short series, so I'm very curious as to how fast he's going to wrap this up. So getting into this series, I think the opening of this is very similar to My Hero Academia, in the sense of, obviously, they're trying to get into a school. I'm just going to straight up apologize already because I don't even know how to pronounce most people's names in this series. The entrance exam to get into Deadrock just gives me so much like My Hero UA entrance exam vibes, which is a very different tone compared to Mashima's regular series, because, you know, obviously Fairy Tail and Eden Zero kind of had the same opening, in the sense of both of them had, you know, the two main leads meet, you know, get into a conflict of some kind and, you know, go off and do their adventure. As to this series, to where our main character is trying to get into a school called Deadrock, and really there is no like love interest at all this first episode. I know there's like female characters, but like no like Lucy or Rebecca. Honestly, they set up more of a bromance than, you know, a love relationship. And honestly, for Mashima's stuff, I do really like the change of pace for the beginning of a series, in the sense of, you know, we just only focus on the main guy and trying to get into the school. Because Mashima lets you know that this is going to be a very different series from the get-go. I know Eden Zero had more darker themes and blood and that stuff, but this one just straight up starts with like the main character like looking like he just got straight up murdered, and like there's a giant blood smatter all over the ground. I personally love how he comes back, like he lifts up the guy that's stepping on him. He's like, nope, I'm not dead. And then he introduces himself, and when he pushes him off of him, it ends up, I guess, killing 11 guys or 10 guys, and then he just keeps getting like dubbed the guy that killed 10 people. I do quite like the friendship he has with this guy that basically almost killed him. And I didn't even mention this yet, like they're in hell or some demon realm. I don't even know if it's specifically hell or not. And this is such a different kind of background than, you know, Raven in Zero, and the whole goal of everyone is trying to get into the human realm is kind of interesting. You can definitely tell the Mashima influences, because you have a character that's honestly kind of similar to Taurus, is even wielding the same axe as Taurus, and kind of similar to like the class system in Fairy Tail. He gives everyone kind of what level of hell they were on, which we don't know most people's layers that they were on, and honestly I don't even know if it's going to particularly matter, because does the class system really matter in Fairy Tail? Honestly not. So the whole trial to get into Deadrock, I think it is okay. I think honestly for this whole chapter is maybe the weakest part of it, just because they're fighting these giant ants and trying to get out of this hole at the same time. I just think it's honestly kind of a lame thing to go against. I still remember Bora from the first episode of Fairy Tail as the villain that they fought. Even all the robots during Eden Zero. I don't think I'm going to really particularly remember all these giant ants. I do quite enjoy Yakuto's relationship with that guy that stepped on him, because they're like teaming up in this anthill to, you know, defeat these monsters together. I think their relationship there is pretty fun. Mashima still is definitely doing the Fairy Tail influences within the series. but at least he's doing different spins on it now. You get this guy that uses ice powers, kind of similar to Gray, but he looks at least nothing like Gray and doesn't really kind of act like Gray too much. And he's also using a sword, which honestly this guy has more of a personality similar to Kajiel than anything, because he just does not want anything to do with him. Which honestly, my favorite part of the chapter, I think her name is Freyr. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. She is dope. I actually really like her for the females in the show so far, because honestly she reminds me of like the female version of Natsu mixed with Juvia, which is a weird combination to say, but like honestly kind of makes sense with like stuff that happens later in this chapter. Which honestly really like her design, and honestly she very much has the female Natsu vibe going. They kind of do a rough pass through everyone else that's going to be potentially a main in this series, which they kind of skip by 2 of them, but then they make a main point of the second female, that being Makoto, the necromancer, which I've seen a lot of love for her online already, which I do think she is cool with the, bringing dead people back to life, which you get that touristy guy coming back. I do like that Yakuto wasn't going to use his power at all in this exam because he wanted to keep it a surprise for whatever reason, but this tourist looking dude, provoked him into using it, and he just like straight up does not have any chill, because compared to, Natsu and like Shiki, I don't think they would just straight up kill a guy. Before this point in the chapter, they're hyping him up as this guy that killed 10 people before the exam even started. And he just has straight up no chill, because he's like, I have to apologize in advance. There's going to be 11 kills. And then he just straight up murders this man. Which Mashima once again gives his characters a dragon ability. And I quite like what he did with this one. Who would have thought that Acnologia was the main character? Because, the attack he does has Acnologia in the background. Honestly, I feel like it's got a little bit of a Natsu vibe to it, obviously, because, it does Black Dragon's Destruction Fist, which, Fire Dragon Destruction Fist was a move that Natsu had. I don't know if Acnologia ever used that, but, it's close enough. But you can definitely tell the influence when, obviously, Acnologia is right behind him. So I wonder if he's going to have a dragon form. That'd be kind of fun. Which I like that he put together that little partner of his, and then, they go past this exam together. And he's not like super heartless, because he does go save the gray ice guy. Definitely a smaller group, because, they say like classes in this are filled with like hundreds of people, and the group that passed this test only had 7 people in it. So theoretically, that's going to be our main cast, is that 7 character group. Also, side note, like Deadrock itself, I love like the Halloween decorations around this whole place. This is definitely a different vibe compared to Mashima's previous series, because we've never had it to where they're all in school together, and this is why I was saying it's very similar to My Hero Academia. I don't know how much I love the like power name in this, because in Fairy Tail you have magic, in Zero you have ether gear, and this series you have roots. But again, we only have 1 chapter, so this could be a lot cooler. I just think it could have had a cooler name. I get it that it's supposed to be like what lineage they're from. I think this is going to be a very interesting group of people, because immediately you already have them fighting with each other, and immediately their chemistry is not the greatest. This is where I like that Freyr girl a lot, because, she sees these people fighting and she's going crazy. Like, she wants to be in this fight so badly. Hence me saying the Natsu section of it. And that she's also so crazy about fighting that, like, she falls in love with the people, basically, and kind of gets, like, almost like a Juvia level to it. In the end of this chapter, I really wasn't expecting, because, you have, the beginning, open with, if you graduate Deadrock, you get to go to the human realm because of God, because you get Yakuto asking, like, hey, if we graduate, we get to go to the human realm, right? And you get their professor saying, like, yeah, sure, you get to, no problem. Multiple people have graduated before, so there has to be, like, multiple human realms, right? And it turns out there's only one, but they just let these demons or whatever the heck they are rule over multiple parts of it. And he really doesn't like the answer that this guy gives him, because he just straight up murders the man. And I was not expecting whatsoever that he just straight up kill this guy, and it's pretty darn bloody. I love all the different reactions in this room. Like, people are freaking out like, he killed our homeroom teacher, and then you just get like free air like, oh my goodness, this guy's so cool. And this is where you get him revealing his full plans that he enrolled at Deadrock with one major goal, and he wants everyone in this room to help him, and once they know the truth, they will all agree with him. And he wants to kill God, which Mashima is going freaking next level with this crap, because of course he gave God a freaking harem. And everyone else in this room doesn't really seem like they're into the whole kill God subplot, except for Friere, which she is in love with him, and she's probably the love interest for this story, but they don't really set that up too much, I don't know. And we have to wait till September for the next issue. Honestly, I really enjoyed the first chapter of Deadrock. I thought it is very different from Mashima. I'm very interested to see where this goes, and I'm also interested to see how long it goes, because I can't imagine it being that long. Watch as it becomes a long-running series. I like the different direction. I like the more mature setting, and also putting it in such a different realm, aka hell. And I'm very interested to see how these powers and everything work. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and this is Drago, signing out.